Hey guys, I am Grant Fritchley with the Fritchley Barker Group, Keller Williams in Ocean City. We're here for another episode of Selling Ocean City. And today I brought in a friend and a colleague, Michelle from Churchill Mortgage. We want to talk a little bit about the mortgage and lending environment in Ocean City, how it has changed, how it's a little different than a primary home market, what you need to know to get ready and to be prepared for a loan at the beach. So today we're going to do it a little unscripted. We're just going to go through some myths, some questions. Michelle's going to answer, and we'll see if we can help get you ready and on your way for that beach purchase. The first question's an easy one, so I'll lob it to you, Michelle. But we get this question a lot from buyers. They don't, in the pre-approval process, want to reach out to a lender yet because they're afraid you're going to run their credit and it's going to ding their credit. Is that true? And how does that process work?
Absolutely. It's a great question, and it's probably the one that I get asked the most. And there's two things. Number one, it does not impact your score at all. When you have your credit report pulled by a mortgage company or a car loan company, when you are shopping for a mortgage or a car, the credit is coded differently with the inquiry. This allows you to go and shop and find that vehicle that you want or find the mortgage that you need to get without it hurting your score. In addition, just to even ease our clients' minds even more, we do a soft pull first. This is good for any type of inquiry, no matter who's pulling it, and it makes it so that it doesn't affect your score at all. It's a soft inquiry. It gives us what we need to pre-approve you, and then we can do the hard inquiry when they go under contract.
So no harm.
Absolutely none.
Get a pre-approval letter.
It is a myth.
Thank you. In the changing lending environment that we've gone through over the past couple of years, I know the loan world has changed. I know the industry has changed. I know the market has changed. But we talk a lot about how it's different here at the beach. And I think what I want people to understand most when a real estate agent, whether it's me or somebody else local, when we beg a buyer to use a local lender, is it because we're friends, or can you help elaborate from your side on why we're doing that? Because it's great, we'd love them to use you because you're a friend, but there are other things that are happening in the background.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say the biggest reason in this area to use a local lender is, number one, is the appraisal process. Appraisals have changed a lot over the past, I would say, even 10 years. Every company is different on how they handle the appraisal process, but at Churchill Mortgage, we actually set up our own panel of appraisers that we approve in the area. That way we know that someone's not coming from Annapolis over the bridge to come and appraise a property in this area. Unfortunately, we live in this little bubble, and it's great, but when you bring someone that's outside and doesn't know the area, they don't really know what they're looking for. So I would say that the appraisal process is a huge reason to use a local lender. The other reason right now is second home and investment properties are another animal in this lending environment. And as we live in basically condo Ocean City, you really need to know the buildings, what to look for and what to stay away from. And you have to have an advocate, your local lender and your local real estate agent, that know what they're looking for and can steer you away from condos that are going to be an issue for you, and also know what to look for on the questionnaire to make sure that it can go through and be passed and approved by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac.
So basically, when we go to our clients, and put this in a nutshell, our explanation to a client is a lender has two jobs. Their first one is to approve you, the buyer, for a loan. But the second part that they don't often think about or aren't often aware of is you're also approving the building or the property for a loan.
Absolutely.
And what we try to explain and highlight the importance of a local lender is you have condo review teams that understand the process, understand how to interpret Fannie and Freddie regulations, are comfortable doing that, and do it frequently.
That's correct.
Okay. Segue into that a little bit, because Fannie and Freddie right now, if we talk conventional loan at the beach, we're talking Fannie-backed, Freddie-backed loans.
Yes.
A lot has changed in their world in the past couple of years, where they have cracked down a little bit on what they call resort loans.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about why a local lender is more capable and has that team in place, whether it's the condo questionnaire and proper interpretation of those changes, and how that process works on your end.
I can give you a perfect example. I had one that just closed last month where it was denied by another lender because they looked at the property as a condo hotel, which is a big no-no with Fannie Mae and Freddie. What happens is underwriters will Google the property, and then what comes up on Google? VRBO, Airbnb, vacationrentals.com, and they go, oh, nope, this is a condo hotel, we're out. You have to have an underwriter and a loan officer that can look at it and go, oh, this isn't an individual homeowner renting their unit on VRBO. It's not the condo association actually renting out the units. And a lot of times with an uneducated lender, they'll just absolutely stop dead in their tracks when they see that, and then they're dead in the water. So having a lender that knows how to work around that and show the underwriter what we're actually seeing online versus what they think they're seeing is a big deal. A lot of the condos in Ocean City have ended up on Fannie Mae's and Freddie Mac's do not lend lists because a lender hasn't done their actual research properly, and then we're stuck in a situation where a lot of these buildings aren't eligible for Fannie Mae financing or Freddie Mac because some other lender came in and kind of blew it up when it wasn't necessary.
So what we're trying to communicate, and why Michelle is here today, is because Fannie has a list. When you purchase a property at the beach, Fannie has a list of requirements or no-goes for loans that a lender must look at and meet in order to resell that loan to Fannie. And the problem with a lot of those requirements are they're open to interpretation. And when you have local lenders and local lending teams that do this day in, day out, hundreds of times a year with these same properties, they're comfortable with the interpretations, they're comfortable meeting the guidelines that Fannie is asking versus a lender that's doing one of these out of every 1,000 files.
Correct.
And so for somebody that's buying at the beach that goes, hey, I have a friend or a family member or a colleague that I've gotten a loan from before here in my home, they said they can match your rate. What we're trying to say is oftentimes that may be true. They've got you qualified, but getting the property and having the team in place to get the loan through is where we often see
Correct.
Things fall apart.
That's right.
So if I have a client, as we often do, that is looking for a property at the beach, it's a second home or an investment property. Most of our clients, or a lot of our clients, are self-employed. What should they be doing to get ready or preparing? What should they be expecting? How's that process work? Second home loan, self-employment.
You know, whether it's a second home, a primary residence, or an investment property, self-employed clients, the first thing they need to do is reach out. Their tax returns have to be reviewed. We have no idea what income we can use to qualify them until we've reviewed it. So based on their down payment, their credit score, we may only require 1 year, we may require 2. When I look at them, I can tell you, you're good to go, let's go shopping. Or sometimes we have to look at alternative loans. There's tons of programs out there for self-employed borrowers. There's 1099 loans where we take an average off of their 1099 income. There's bank statement loans for self-employed borrowers where we are able to look at their business bank statements and average their income based off of that. But until we know what their tax returns look like, we won't know which loan program they're eligible for. So it's super important.
So reach out early so you get the right things in place.
Yes.
To do the process.
And do that soft credit inquiry that won't hurt their score.
Here's a fun one, and we've done a video on it. It's tying into so much, and it's becoming more and more prevalent and relevant in our day-to-day life. Maryland passed a new bill called the HB 107 bill, and this impacts condos across the state, but what city in the state has more condos than Ocean City? And on the lending front, I know you're starting to see some of the effects. How is it affecting you? What should buyers know? What should buyers be prepared for?
Well, luckily, any condo in Ocean City that's managed by a management company locally is in great shape. They're all doing and taking the appropriate steps to make sure that they have their inspections and their reserve studies done. So we're finding that it's been not as bad or as harmful as a lot of us were thinking in the beginning. Where we see trouble is our self-managed condos who don't have a management company, and sometimes the management companies that are outside of the area. Again, sometimes going local works in our benefit. If they are not up to code with their reserve studies and their inspections, you cannot get financing through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
That's really important, and I think that warrants repeating.
Yeah. Well, what happens in those situations is you have to look into alternative loans. So we do, it's called a non-warrantable condo. It can't be warranted by Fannie or Freddie. So then you're looking for an investor or a bank that we can sub the loan to that will finance the condo. Maybe. If they don't have inspections or if there's some structural issues in place, it gets even stickier. Let's say that they do have everything in order, they just don't have their inspections done, and we do a non-warrantable condo, you're looking at a higher down payment and a higher interest rate.
I'm glad we hit that, and it sort of ties everything together. Look, I'd love it if everybody that watched this and comes to Ocean City uses myself and my team and Michelle and her team. We're here, we'd love to do business with you, but I think the reality is us educating and making sure you understand that it's great to say use local. It's so easy for us to say, hey, just use local. But there's a reason, and there are a lot of important things that we're trying to get out in front of to help you in this process to make it smoother, easier, quicker, less painful, and an enjoyable experience. And so many things have happened in the lending environment, in the insurance environment, which we haven't even talked about today, and this new HB 107 bill, where there are now pain thresholds that didn't exist years ago.
That's correct.
And if you're not ready and you're not watching out for them, it can cost you money, it can cost you the loan,
Right.
it can cost you a higher interest rate. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know, you talk about it costing more money. Let's say your lender can't get the condo building approved, or we can't get it approved. You've paid for an appraisal, you've paid for a home inspection, you've paid for a termite report. I mean, there's so many upfront costs that you're out if it can't go through.
All right, guys, thanks for watching and checking out our most recent video here at Selling Ocean City. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was informative. We want to thank Michelle and her special friend. If you have any questions, reach out. We'd be happy to answer. Leave a comment below. And more importantly, make sure you like and subscribe to our videos to stay in touch and up to date on all things Ocean City.
Thanks, guys.